Hey there folks, this is GreenXI welcoming you right back to Let's Play Higurashi. This is episode 96. The main thing that happened in the last episode was that Satoshi asked Shion to take Satoko to the Watanagashi festival, and it was very much reminiscent of a conversation that went on during a previous arc with Kaiichi and Mion, I think it was, where Kaiichi asked Mion to do something similar. Was it to just go to the Watanagashi festival or get somebody out the way? I think that might have been Sadako as well. So, let's get going with chapter 6. See if this is the festival. This chapter. Sure it will be. The day of the Watanagashi festival. Yep, definitely. June the 20th, 1982, 1:40 PM. What was I doing today? Nothing in particular. Nothing at all. No, of course not. I just wanted to play hooky. I woke up in the afternoon. I ate instant food for lunch while watching boring TV programs. Sounds good. I had a light headache, so I lay down on the sofa. I won't wake up again if I went to sleep. Whatever. I decided to sleep. I'd already told Sis that Satoshi-kun had asked her to look after Sadako. I didn't have to do anything myself. This was going to be Mion who goes. Literally Mion. Not Shion acting as Mion. I fell asleep, though my head was aching a little bit. That would be all I'd have to deal with. June the 20th, 1982, 5:02 PM. The aunt believed that all the villagers frowned upon her because her brother-in-law and his wife were pro-dam activists. She surely experienced some fallout during the time of the dispute, but people had stopped looking coldly upon her, even though she assumed otherwise. She was paranoid, believing that all the villagers hated her. And so she decided to hate them back. Her attitude, of course, begot hatred from the villagers, and the situation became exactly the way she thought it was from the start. What came first, their poor relationships with the neighbours, or her husband's affair? She didn't know herself. Her husband claimed that he got a lover because he was fed up with her attitude. She in turn claimed that their relationships with the neighbours went sour because her husband had damaged their reputation. Only Satoshi was aware that both happened at almost the same time. Their quarrels had become a daily routine now. When the husband came home late, the wife would shout at him at the entrance. Satoshi wondered why they didn't get a divorce, the marriage being as rotten as it was. But he secretly knew the reason for that too. It was the fortune his parents had left. Okay. His aunt had hidden their bank book and stamp and never allowed her husband access to them. So, her husband would search the house for them. She'd find out he stole some money from her purse. This might be why there's always such a mess in that house. Maybe. This would cause yet another fight. Satoshi had never been aware that his parents had that much money when they were alive. But how is there a mess in the house if Satoshi and Sadako are being forced to clean it all the time? Like slave labour kind of thing. Satoshi had never been aware that his parents had that much money when they were alive. After their death, however, one of his relatives told him. He was informed that his parents had left a large sum of money in some bank account. Satoshi couldn't understand why they had that kind of money, because his family had been, as far as he knew, poor. It was because of the dam project. His parents probably got the money in return for their cooperation with the government. They'd strived to get more villagers on their side, provided information to them, and whatnot. The money was probably compensation for their efforts. His aunt and uncle never had any intention to adopt them until they heard about the money. Of course, greed. After someone from some financial institution revealed its existence, they appeared to adopt Sadako and Satoshi. Okay. The couple would fight every day. Eventually, Satoshi's uncle started spending more time at his mistress's home. He realized that he had no reason to return to his own home, because he'd just end up in a fight with his wife if he did. When he stopped coming home, Satoshi felt relieved. Neither their uncle nor their aunt treated the two siblings very well. Satoshi's aunt would have to vent her frustration upon them. The reason the couple fought was their corrupted relationship, so if they separated, there wouldn't be any more fights. Satoshi had thought that at first. But even after they separated, his aunt still had a short temper. Another woman had stolen her husband. The villagers must have been talking behind her back. It was mortifyingly embarrassing. Since she lost an opponent to a fight, Satoshi's aunt directed her hatred towards the siblings. Satoshi had been observing her. He learned when she would get upset and how to avoid her attention. He managed to get by without upsetting her by turning a keen eye to her behaviour and avoiding conflicts. Smart? But Satoko couldn't do that. She hated her aunt and didn't even try to hide it. Satoshi told her to behave in her aunt's presence, but her eyes were always filled with hatred. Satoshi strived to reduce the conflict between them as much as possible. He stepped in to mend their relationship. It was a heavy burden for him though, because he was still just a boy. He bore so much. He covered for his little sister by lying and manoeuvring. He tried to maintain a tangible sense of peace. But he couldn't do that forever. The relationship between Satoko and her aunt had already spiraled out of control. It's too late. Satoshi found something in the trash. The dump where they got KFC man. It probably wasn't a legitimate place for trash disposal. If it was, sanitation workers would come and pick it up. He passed by the street all the time, so he noticed when there were new things dumped there. He found a plain-looking desk of the kind likely to be seen in offices. Okay. Somebody must have dumped it within the past few days. His aunt liked to bring usable trash home. She'd had Satoshi help bring a chest home just a few days ago. What is it with the people in this village about going to dumps and taking stuff home? If he told her about the desk, she'd want it. His aunt hated to find bugs and garbage in the drawers, so she'd always open them to check before carrying the thing home. Satoshi opened all the drawers, all of which were empty. After that, he turned around and walked for about 5 steps. He was standing in a knee-high bush. There he laid something he'd been carrying all the time, until today. It'd be very hard to find unless you specifically knew it was there to begin with. Looking satisfied, Satoshi looked around for some landmark to remember the place by. June the 20th, 1982, 5:51 PM. It's really going into the explanations of Satoshi this time, innit? Oh, we're going to the festival. Hey, old pal! I see you showed up again this year. You better get ready for us. Grah! You're as peppy as ever. Oh? Is she a newcomer? This is Rena Ryugu. Don't underestimate her, she's good. Well, she was there before. A couple of years ago, like, before she moved away. No I'm not. Nice to meet you. Yo! You too. I brought all kinds of prizes this year. There'll be a real battle to win. Try and take them all with you if you can. Oh, Rika. Rena tends to dote on cute stuff. Yeah, that stuffed animal looks just like your type. What? Oh, so cute. I want to take it home with me. Hey, the booth isn't open yet. Wow. Stop it, Rena. He says the booth isn't open yet. You can run him into the ground once he opens it up. Who's meant to be talking as us? Because Shion wasn't going to the festival, was she? Oh, it's mine. I'm taking it home. Rena lost her marbles over the stuffed animal. Everybody laughed. Everybody except Satoko. She was standing by herself, some distance from the crowd. Her eyes looked dull. Meep. Meepers. What is it, Rika? Rika walked up to Satoko, smiling ear to ear in an effort to cheer her up. Forget your worries today. Let's just have fun. Satoko looked down. Even if she got to have fun today, her circumstances at home wouldn't change. No, that's true. It's just like it's like a plaster. Chuck the plaster on the problem while she's away, kind of thing. And by the time she gets back, the plaster will peel away, like it ain't waterproof or something, and she'll be back in it. Satoko, your evil aunt isn't around. That was blunt. I know that. So why don't you have fun? Nipa. Oh. Nipa. Try again. Oh. Nipa. Oh, sorry, but I don't feel like it. Could you please leave me alone? Oh. Why aren't you smiling? Satoko sulkily glimpsed at Rika. She gave her a look, as though she wanted to say that Rika should know the reason. Yeah. Even if she could have fun today, nothing would change between her and her evil aunt. no matter how fun the festival was. Once she went home, her aunt would be there. The aunt would find something wrong with Sadako, get mad, and shout at her so loudly that neighbours would hear her. How can she have fun, even just for today, while knowing all that? Sadako didn't say that out loud, but her eyes betrayed her emotions to Rika. So Sadako, if your suffering ends today, will you smile? Sadako gasped. She thought that Rika might do something to help, but soon after she realised that Rika was just trying to comfort her. Could her suffering end today? But, just want to break in a bit. This is supposed to be answering questions about the arc with Mion and Shion, but it seems to be more about Satoshi and Sadako. So far, at least, I guess. Maybe it'll change once we get a certain way through, but you know, it seems weird to me. Could the suffering end today because of Rika? How? Sadako knew that there was really nothing Rika could do. And so, after just one moment of freedom, Sadako fell into depression again. Rika, don't give me false hopes. Sadako. Rika's voice was clearer than Sadako had ever heard her before. It's already been decided. Oh, weird. June the 20th, 1982, 8:11 p.m. Same night. Satoshi snuck out the window after supper. He heard the distant ruckus of the festival. The festival would end at 9 p.m. After the Watanagashi ceremony, there was going to be a raffle drawing. So there were two types of people in Hinamazawa. The people who would go home for dinner, and the ones who would stay until the raffle was over. I would want to be there for as long as possible, because it ain't like the festival's going to be there forever. Either relaxing at home or still at the festival. There were only those two patterns. On top of that, there weren't many neighbours in the vicinity of Satoshi's house. As a result, he found nobody on the streets. On that night, the small village seemed especially desolate. Satoshi knew it was going to be like this, but he would keep worrying until he saw it for himself. He was barefooted, but started running without hesitation. It's that so he couldn't be heard. But if you hurt yourself, wouldn't it make everything harder? If you hurt your feet. Felt as though he'd become a wild animal, running on his bare feet. He got the impression that he could run faster than usual. Not only his running ability, his vision, his hearing, and his sense of smell. A hunter is coming out of him. All his senses were keener, including his sixth sense. He could almost sense the presence of people in the distance, if only when crouching like an animal. It felt strange, as though he had stepped into another world. He'd been feeling tense and anxious until today, battling with his own fear. But now he felt as though he had metamorphosed, is that a word? Metamorphed into a different person. June 20th, 1982, 8:37 p.m. Alright everyone, I'm going to explain how the raffle works. Please gather around the altar. The festival had reached its climax. The raffle was going to start. Both the women who were dancing and those who were waiting for the raffle gathered around the altar. This was the first time they'd held a raffle. Oh. The planning committee decided to hold one from this year onward to attract more people to the festival. At first the prizes were things the committee members had donated, but Oyo, not appreciating how pathetic they looked, had them thrown away. That's not nice, is it? They've donated stuff. Oyo took the initiative and bought a brand new TV, a washing machine, a cooling fan, and other such things for the raffle. The committee wanted to keep it small initially, but it turned out big thanks to her. Oyo was upset because the committee members weren't enthusiastic enough, in her opinion. Some of the members thought it would be very difficult to prepare prizes of equal value the following year, so this might be the very first and last raffle. Thanks to you, we have such wonderful prizes this year, Oyu-san. They must have cost a lot, didn't they? We can reimburse you from our budget. Buffoon! No point in reimbursing that. It was never about the money. Idiots. I love Granny. Now, don't say that. This raffle's all thanks to you, Oyu-san. It's not like I'm doing this all by myself. Don't be ridiculous. The mayor, Kimiyoshi, was having a tough time pacifying Oyu. All of a sudden, one of the committee members burst into the tent in a rush. He looked upset, so Kimiyoshi assumed that somebody probably got hurt in an accident. What's going on, Makino-san? Hope you're not having a heart attack. Kimiyoshi made a joke to calm him down. Makino, however, still looked tense. He whispered something to Kimiyoshi. Even without hearing the exchange between Makino and Kimiyoshi, it was plain as day there was bad news. Oyu-san, I have unpleasant news if you don't mind. Kimiyoshi, accompanied by Makino, moved to Oyu's side and spoke in a very serious tone. Kimiyoshi whispered to her the exact same words Makino told him. Oh dear, this is bad. Understatement. Ain't unexpected. What happens thrice will happen a fourth time. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, that's not funny, Oyu-san. You're right, it isn't. It's just another hassle. The police are trying to identify the body. I heard that the face was completely destroyed, so it'll be difficult. It's quite clear who it is, though. Do you know who it might be? Oyu glared at Kimiyoshi, then started chuckling. Idiot! Must be some impudent lad who didn't come to the Watanagashi festival. People who respect Oyashiro-sama won't get involved in something like that. Oyu kept laughing. Kimiyoshi and Makino didn't know how to react to that. Oh, I bet. June 20th, 1982, 9:04 PM. This is merciless. Examining it. Kuma-chan, every death is merciless unless the dead wished for it. They have my condolences. How's it going over there? Did you find something that could identify the body? The forensic investigators shook their heads. The victims were wearing sandals and casual clothes. They must be from this neighbourhood. We should be able to identify the corpse by asking round. That's the way we do it. The section manager says this case might become classified, so be careful with that. Gotcha. Kumagai gathered some officers and gave them directions. Dr. Irie has arrived. Doctor, it's over here. A young doctor got out of his car and headed in the victim's direction. Oh, hello. Hello. So I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. To help with the raffle. I think this music perfectly describes, explanations. You know, I think it fits. You must have drunk a lot at the festival, Doctor. You sure you're sober? Maybe I should run a breathalyzer test on you just to be safe. I'm fine. My assistant is driving. Clever of you. Hey, let the doctor pass. There's an area cordoned off with blue plastic sheets. An officer rolled up the sheet and let Uishi and Irie pass. Oh, okay, better take photos, I guess. The forensic people were taking photos from many different angles. The blood spatters and the bloody sandals were left untouched, marked with chalk and indicated with small alphabetized plates. I'm not used to seeing things like this. Irie took out a handkerchief and covered his nose. You should breathe through your mouth. I still smell things when I breathe through my mouth, see, even when I block my nose. I think it goes up, because it's the same tubes, kind of. If that's the right word. The same tubes as, mouth and nose, isn't it? The body appeared to be that of a middle-aged woman. It was soaked in blood. It looked like a middle-aged woman because of the hair and what she was wearing. I think we can guess who it is. The reason why no one could be certain it was a middle-aged woman was because its face was completely pulverized. This is brutal. To be fair, she sort of deserved it, I think. I'm sure it was done out of malice. The victim must have been murdered right here, judging from the pattern of the blood splatters and the soles of the sandals. And even though not many people take this road, the body's right in the middle of it. It's very unusual to see a culprit who would bludgeon their victim until their face was completely destroyed. Hold on. Okay. Also, can you look at her arms? Will she put on latex gloves and lifted the corpse's arm? See? Spotless, aren't they? Are you saying the victim didn't try to protect her head? That there's no signs of struggle? Right you are. I think the victim lost consciousness with the first blow. Strong blow. Then the culprit kept beating to complete the murder. The victim was probably lying face down at that time, judging from the stains on her clothes. The body's face up now. The culprit seems to have flipped the victim over in order to smash her face, even though by that point, her death was certain. Irie looked like he was going to throw up, both because of the putrid smell and Uishi's reasoning. He's a doctor, he should be immune or slightly immune to this sort of stuff, shouldn't he? Smashing the victim's face is clearly a sign of a grudge, in my experience. It's a very profound grudge too. That means the culprit must be someone very close to the victim. I understand you didn't call me to resuscitate her. Doctor, do you know who the victim is? If you do, I don't have to waste time questioning the neighbours. Irie looked at the body once again. He looked away quickly and thought. Then after a while, Irie left the investigation area without saying anything. I'm sorry. I don't know. Oh. Hey. You sure? Ushi smirked and looked into Irie's eyes. Not with that glare on his glasses, he's not. As though Irie was hiding something. No. Not hiding anything. Irie would know who it was, I'm sure. I guess you're still under the influence, Doctor. Maybe you'll remember when you're sober. Let me know if you do. Ushi tapped Irie on the back. The doctor, saying he wanted some fresh air, left the scene. Kumagai returned. Ushi-san, the section manager, is on the radio. The one in the first car. Irie lied. Huh? Nothing. Hurry up and question the neighbours. The victim must be from this area. June 20th, 1982, 9:39 PM. Here he is. Ushi-san. Thank you for coming here this late at night. I know you have school tomorrow. I'm really sorry to bother you. Who's it? Uh-oh. No problem. Is he a good liar? We'll see. Where's your father? My stepfather doesn't come home much. No. Uh-huh. Since when? When did he come home last? I don't know. Heard he's living with a woman who works at a club in Okanamaya or something. I don't remember exactly when, but I guess I saw him a few weeks ago. I don't think we ever see the stepfather's, you know, who he's cheating with. In the anime, anything. Maybe for a bit. I don't know. Uh-huh. Do you have your father's address? No. He's living with a woman who works at a club. Do you know the name of the place? No. I know it's in Okanamaya, and that's all. What's your father's name? Teppei Hojo. Ushi signalled Kumagai with his chin, who nodded while taking notes. Were your mother and father getting along well? I don't know much about that, but I don't think so. I see. I want you to tell me honestly, do you know anyone who might have been holding a grudge against his stepmother? I don't. Well, you know. Alright. Please let me know if you remember something. Here's my card. My number is on it. Okay. I might ask to see you again for further inquiries. And if you see your stepfather, please let him know that we want to contact him. Kuma-chan, drive him home, will you? Oh, no. I can go home by myself. Please let us drive you home. There's a possibility that the culprit who murdered your aunt is roaming around the neighbourhood. You might get hurt too. Remember Satoshi vanished? In other arcs it mentioned he vanished when his aunt died. I think that's what we're going to find out now. Thank you for your consideration, but really, I'm fine. Satoshi tried to reject the offer, but Uishi and Kumagai instead insisted. In the end, Satoshi was forced to accept. How can he vanish when the police are with him? No. He turned around to leave, when Uishi spoke to him as if he remembered something he'd forgotten to say. Hojo-san. Yes? Don't worry. It's no problem. We'll catch a culprit soon. Do you have any leads? Yes, we do. Like what? That's confidential. But it's his stepmother. Ordinary people might think that Uishi was trying to cheer the poor kid up with a joke. Well, usually people get pretty worked up when they commit murder. Though of course, there's some exceptions. What kind of evidence do you find when the culprit's worked up? When somebody's in a very excited condition, their body shows many symptoms, like sweat, loss of hair. We often find the culprit's hair at crime scenes. Well, this is outside, so it's a bit different, but still. Never know. Did you find their hair? I don't know yet. The forensic guys are searching the scene right now. He's asking a lot of questions, isn't he? I'm anxious to see what they'll bring me. Excuse me, I have to go now. Please, Kuma-chan, would you? Sure. See you again soon, Hojo-san. I'll let you know if there's any progress in the investigation. Let me know when you remember something. Let's cooperate to catch the murderer of your stepmother. Something tells me Satoshi won't want to cooperate. That was good. That was a really good part, actually. I'm wondering how it's going to carry on. If it's going to be how Satoshi avoids getting caught, or... I don't know, really. If it actually is Satoshi, it made out like it is, with him running barefoot and putting the bait of a desk out, which his aunt would probably want to pick up. You know, things like that. Anyways, this has been Greeny XI. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in a bit when we finish off chapter 6. I don't know how this is going to carry on. Thanks for watching, folks. See you again in a bit.